Good evening, everyone. My name is Chris Cooper, known as the Channel Guy Trader, and I am reporting to you live from Wall Street Trading satellite office down in sunny South Florida. Today's date is Tuesday, October the 23rd, 2012, and here is today's After the Bell market summary. I want to first start off by taking a look to see how the indices closed today. The Dow Jones closed down 243.36 points. The Nasdaq closed down 26.5 points. The S&P 500 closed down 20.71 points. Weakest index across the board today out of these three was the Dow Jones, down 1.82%. If we take a look at the breadth today here, we can see we had 4,421 declining issues, and we had 1,779 issues advancing on the NYSE, Nasdaq, and AMEX. We had 133 issues making new lows and 72 making new highs on the NYSE, Nasdaq, and AMEX. So let's go ahead and start by taking a look at the SPY daily chart here. You can see the SPY was down $1.99, down 1.39%, closed at 141.42. All right, you can see we're below the 50, we're below the 200-day moving average. I'm sorry, we're below the 50, we're below the 8, we're below the 20. And next moving average in sight is a 200-day moving average around 137.41. This will line up with the EMA and the SMA for the 200 daily chart of the SPY, and that is around 137.41. We are going to have some support right here around the 139.52, and we do also have some support in front of that number around, say, right here. Give me one second. We are going to have some support in front of that number around 140.35. So watch on the SPY going forward for tomorrow. Watch today's lows around 140.83. Then watch 140.35. All right, not 140. One second. Well, not 140.35, but it's actually 140. Just call it 140. Watch the 140, then watch the 139.5 level. If we break below 139.5, we do have this little gap fill that's in this little area right here. All right, so we do have a nice little gap down there, up there from the gap from the August the 6th on the SPY on the market there. Okay, one thing to say about today's session is that we did come into the market surprised. I mean, if we with the ES down more than 22 handles, if you take a look at the ES daily chart here, you can see with our channel analysis we broke that bottom range. All right, now we have something to worry about now, guys. All right, we broke that bottom range. I would have thought that we would have got a better bounce off this little hammer, but they took us right back in, held below that little lower channel right here, and then we broke this little bottom range right here that was holding, for the past couple of weeks, for the past month or so. That little downward trend line has been in play for the above and below method. So now what we're looking for now is maybe some more selling pressure. Look for a little snapback rally, and this is going to be the telltale, guys. I'm letting you guys know right now. This is going to be the telltale when we come back up towards this trend line, if we could get back over this trend line in this channel, or if we hold below it. If we hold below this level, then it's going to be an ugly November, if you ask me. All right, so we'll wait and see. Again, we do have some support from this little area down here, and one little trend line that I will be watching. One area is this little trend line right here from this little prior channel. That's going to line up with, say, SPY 1400. So 1400 is the next level that I'm watching. Going into this morning in the chat room, in our trading chat, in our virtual trading room. If you have not been there, it is mywallstreettv.com. Password to log in is SMART. Make sure you go to wallstreettrading.com and fill out the form on the right-hand side for your free trial of My Wall Street TV. So, levels we were talking about this morning, we had some levels. I'm watching the ES here. We had 1411 as a pre-market low, 1407.5, 1402, and then 1398. We were spot on with support 2 and support 3 at the 1407.5 level, and the support 3, the 1402 level, which was the low of the day before we got this nice little snapback rally around 10:30. So we nailed the low of the day. And again, if you guys trade the ES or you trade individual equities, you want to make sure you come check out the chat room. All right, so that's what the ES is looking like. Let's go and take a look at the Qs. All right, so for the ES, real quick here, ES, we're watching today's lows around 1401.82, call it 1402. We are going to have some support around the 1400 level though, and then around the 1398. And if we go below that level, then we'll look for some more levels tomorrow in the morning. All right, so back to the top side, we're going to be watching around this 1411 area. Okay, and then around this 1416, 1418 area, we'll see how we look going into tomorrow's session. Now let's take a look at the triple Qs. All right, the triple Qs are still at this little support band right here. Let me put on the moving averages here. And you can see we're sitting right on top of the 200-day simple and exponential move. Well, we're sitting right on top of the 200-day simple moving average around 65.04. The 200-day exponential moving average is around 64.60, and we are trading below this key trend line right here from the lows that we made back here in June to this little pivot low that we made right here back in July. All right, so I mean, right now we have to be. It's kind of, it's kind of a non-high probability trade, of course, going short right here. Obviously, there were different levels that you could have gone short against. If we could base right here a little bit, then see if we see some weakness come in, then we break down. That'll be good. But if we continue to keep on going down, it's going to be kind of hard to catch a move, as people are going to be scared to trade, getting that short trade for that snapback rally. But there will be clues that come about intraday that will let you know if we can have that momentum in there as well. And let's take a look at the IWM. The IWM right down here, bounced off the 20-day simple moving average right at the bottom of the channel. If the market was to get some buying pressure tomorrow, this would be the index to take a look at, and this would be the one, I guess you could trade the TNA or something like that. That's if the market was to get a nice little bounce tomorrow from this oversold conditions that we're kind of in right now. This TNA, this IWM set up to give a nice little maybe pop back up towards 82, maybe 82.50 or so, maybe towards the middle of this little channel right here that we were tracking now since we adjusted our channels. All right, so that actually closed up pretty good off the lows and respected the nice little 200-day moving average right there. All right, let's take a look at the dollar futures. All right, and some of this selling pressure we had today is coming from the strength of the dollar. Obviously, the dollar was strong today. The euro was weak, and we had commodities down across the board. The dollar is going towards the top of the range. We want to see how it reacts up here on this 80 and a quarter level on the dollar futures. If we just chop around up here, but we can't push above it and hold, then that could mean that we're probably going to come back down towards the bottom of the range, and then that's will cause the market to obviously maybe catch a float up. All right, and that's why, since the dollar's in a range now, kind of like an identified range, that's why I think we're starting to see this volatility pick up a bit there. All right, for this little range that we're going to be trading on the dollar, it's going to make the markets a little bit more volatile. Aside from how it was trending down like this, or like this, or trending up like this, we're probably going to get a little choppy consolidation. That's going to pick up that volatility. All right, so let's take a look at the volatility index, which we nailed ever since we called for this little big breakout out of this little compression pattern that we had right here. All right, nice little first day sell-off. They sold the volatility the first day after the big breakout candle, which has been the pattern, as you can see from back here. That has been the trade sell volatility. But then again, buyers in the volatility came in today and closed it right above its 200-day moving averages here. Something to keep an eye on here, because we were going down inside this channel, back here since June. All right, and now this is vulnerable the same way that uptrend line on those indices are vulnerable for a continuation breakdown, and in this case, a continuation of a move higher. All right, let's take a look at crude oil. All right, crude oil continues to show weakness, was not able to get above 35 on the USO, which in essence is 94 on the actual crude sweet crude oil future, excuse me. All right, so we do have some support around the 84 level, and that's like another push lower, and we are coming all the way from there from a high. All right, we are coming all the way from a high of 90. One second. From a high here of $100.42. Okay, so a high of 100.5, call it, and we're all the way back down here. Hit a low today of 85.5 or so. So about $15 off the highs that we made last month. If we were to go more into this 84 level, I do think it will be a buying opportunity in crude oil, at least for a scalp trade. So we'll keep an eye on that right there. Let's take a look at gold futures. Gold futures getting a nice little, they're getting a nice little bounce after hours. I really didn't trade gold today. I wasn't really watching gold today. But gold futures breaking through the 50-day simple moving average, getting a nice bounce after the gold markets have closed or have closed for today's session. They're getting a bounce here after hours. But got to continue watching the gold to see what it wants to do. I track the gold futures. You could take a look at the GOD so we get a better, nicer looking reading of the gold chart here. And you can see here the GOD is closing, has closed below the 50-day simple moving average, and looks like it maybe wants to go down here to test the 200 and into this little support area that we have down here. All right, so that's another $4 lower. We'll see what happens with that. We'll keep you guys posted. All right, let's take a look at silver, see what silver did today. Obviously, silver pulled back along down 71 cents, right on top of the 200-day moving averages. And let's take a look at copper futures. And copper futures continue to get smashed after failing to hold above this trend line and breaking down. And we talked about that, and the best way we talked about was the best stock that we talked about it. The best way that we said you could take that trade idea is by shorting FCX, which that's been going down. They had earnings yesterday. The stock bounced up a little bit and then got smashed today. Continue to watch the stock. Let's take a look at the 60-minute chart, and you can see it could roll right back over if it goes below 38.60. A couple of earnings that we had out today was Netflix. So definitely going to be watching Netflix tomorrow. The stock sold off after hours. Facebook traded higher after hours on its earnings. VMW traded higher after hours, and I think QCore popped up. I didn't get to go back and check that stock out there. So a lot of things going on, guys. Market volatility is picking up, which is good. We like that. If you have not been to the trading room, make sure you check it out. At the same time, if you want to know what we do during the day in the trading room, make sure you go check out the YouTube channel My Wall Street TV and take a look at our midday market updates where we show our intraday analysis, and you can see the screen and the charts and everything. So that's about it, guys. Hope you guys are having a great night so far. Have a great day. Later.